Guys, in this video we are going to take a look at some of the guns and armaments from the Battle of Mill Springs, located in Nancy, Kentucky. We're currently inside the museum, the Welcome Center, where there are a ton of artifacts. I'm going to do a more broad video on the battle in general over on my backup channel. You can find a link down in the description below. But what we're going to do in this video is actually focus just on some of the weaponry that was used, talk about how that the types of weapons used by the Confederates as well as the Union really impacted the outcome of the battle. So come with us.
The Battle of Mill Springs occurred on January 19th, 1862. This was one of the early battles during the Civil War, and it was also one of the early victories by the Union Army. What you're seeing on screen is a glimpse of some of the battlefield. So this area in here is where some of the hottest part of the battle actually happened. And if you want to see more detail about some of the things in this area as well as the battlefield, be sure to go over to my vlog channel and see the two-part series over there where we go on a tour of the various sites. The weaponry that were used by the Confederates and the Union Army played a significant role in the outcome. During the battle, there were more than 6,000 Confederate troops in this area. Most of them were armed with flintlocks and shotguns. They were, there again, early in the war. A lot of the things that were going on with the war, supplies were a premium, and unfortunately the firearms used by the Confederates were not much of a match for the rifled barrels of the guns used by the Union Army.
When we think of buying a box of bullets, you'll note that during the Civil War era, the type of ammunition, the way that it was issued to soldiers then is much different as it is today. You can see here that it's basically a paper wrapped package that would contain the ammunition for the firearms, and we can see here some of the guns of the day. Now, one thing that I want to take special note of: the Confederates were using a lot of older flintlocks like we see here. These flintlocks during the battle had a very bad time. There were a lot of failures simply because the battle was during a wet period, during the rain and things like that. And we've always heard the expression, keep your powder dry. That was something that the Confederates had a very difficult time doing. There were a lot of those guns that were failing because of getting wet, while at the same time on the other side, the Union, the firearms that they were using, the Enfields and things like that, were much more reliable in those conditions. These guns here are reproductions that representative of some of those used during the battle. This is a very interesting gun. The one here in the middle that you can see that I'm pointing at now, this gun was found in 1995 on the battlefield, and you can see the condition that the gun was in and how that it survived for well over 100 years before being found and then becoming part of the collection here at the museum. You can see here the plaque that tells a little bit about it, and I think that is just very interesting as far as how that there's no telling what's underneath the ground still, just as the way that the archaeology, I know with a lot of the things that we see these days, there's just so much more that we don't see that is still obviously out there and buried.
Another very influential factor was that the flintlocks used by the Confederates were smoothbore guns. The Union were using rifled guns, of course, and as you all know, a smoothbore firearm is nowhere near as accurate as a rifled barreled firearm. So the Confederates were limited on accuracy as well as the range. You know, I mean, you're talking around 100 yards for those smoothbores compared to upwards of 300 yards for the weapons used by the Union Army. So that also played a major role in the outcome of the conflict. Guys, this is just a short video that I wanted to do to show you all some of these antiques, classic firearms from American history that played a role in one of the most dramatic times in our country. If you want to see more about this battlefield, go over to my vlog channel and check out the two-part series that I've done over there. The link will be down in the description below. Guys, as always, thanks for watching. Check out the rest of the videos on the channel, and we'll see you next time.